Most people think a lack of discipline is a moral problem, a flaw, a weakness, something to be ashamed of. They talk to themselves like a judge, lazy, broken, inconsistent, then wonder why they can't move. But that story is not only cruel, it's inaccurate. Because what you call lack of discipline is often just biology doing its job. Your brain did not evolve to chase long-term goals, abstract visions, or heroic self-control. It evolved to keep you alive. Over millions of years, the human nervous system was shaped by scarcity, danger, and uncertainty. In that world, conserving energy was wisdom. Seeking quick rewards was survival. Avoiding unnecessary effort was intelligence. The brain learned one rule that still runs inside you today. Choose the path that feels safe, easy, and immediately rewarding. That's why your brain doesn't want you to go to the gym at 6 a.m. It wants you to stay still and save energy. It doesn't want you to study or write or build anything difficult. It wants you to scroll because the reward is fast, effortless, and certain. And this isn't a defect, it's a design. The problem is, modern life demands the opposite. Society asks you to behave like a focused machine, consistent, productive, disciplined, while your brain still carries the software of a tired hunter-gatherer. So, an inner war starts. One part of you wants growth, the other wants comfort. And when you try to win that war with pure willpower, you're trying to overpower ancient programming with a few motivational sentences. It works for a day, maybe two. Then fatigue arrives, and the brain returns to autopilot. Autopilot always chooses what is easiest. Here's the deeper layer most people miss. Dopamine is not just pleasure. Dopamine is the chemistry of anticipation. It spikes when your brain predicts a reward might be coming. That's why social media is so addictive. Not because it always gives you pleasure, but because it gives you unpredictable rewards, repeatedly. A like, a new video, a new message, a new stimulus. Your brain keeps pulling the lever because the next hit could be better, and that variable reward schedule is more powerful than any abstract goal you set for yourself. So if you've been blaming your character, stop. You are not weak. You are fighting an environment that is engineered to hijack prediction, attention, and impulse. And this is the key shift we're going to build in this video. You don't need to bully your brain into discipline. You need to design a path where the right behavior becomes the easiest behavior. Where your environment, your cues, and your systems do the heavy lifting, so discipline stops being a daily battle and becomes a quiet default. Here's why willpower keeps losing, even when your intentions are sincere. Your brain is an efficiency machine. It isn't built to admire your goals, it's built to minimize effort in the present. Neuroscience has a simple name for this: cognitive ease. The brain automatically favors whatever feels familiar, simple, and low friction, because low friction means low energy cost, and energy, to the brain, is survival. This is why discipline feels so hard, not because you're defective, but because the moment you try to do something difficult, you're asking your brain to spend resources without an immediate payoff. That triggers resistance, not dramatic resistance, quiet resistance. A subtle pull toward the easier option, a thought like, just 5 more minutes, a quick check of your phone, a harmless snack, a small detour, and suddenly the task is gone. Now add one more factor: fatigue. Willpower is a battery, not a personality trait. It drains with stress, poor sleep, decision overload, emotional conflict, and constant stimulation. So even if you start the day strong, by the end of the day your mind becomes porous. That's when autopilot takes over. And autopilot doesn't choose what's best. Autopilot chooses what's easiest. This is why people think they lack discipline. They don't. They lack a system that still works when the battery is low. James Clear captured this with brutal clarity. Motivation is overrated. Environment matters more. That line is uncomfortable because it removes the fantasy of heroic self-control. But it's also liberating because it means you don't have to win by force. You can win by design. And here's the new concept you need to understand: friction math. Your brain does calculations like this all day, without asking your permission. If the right behavior takes 5 steps and the wrong behavior takes 1, the brain will choose 1, every time. Not because you're weak, because your brain is loyal to efficiency. Think about it. Working out might require changing clothes, finding shoes, driving to the gym, waiting for equipment, enduring discomfort, and coming home sweaty. That's friction. Scrolling your phone requires 1 step: unlock screen. That's why the phone wins so often. Studying requires setting up, focusing, tolerating boredom, and delaying reward. Watching videos requires 1 click and gives dopamine instantly. So the solution is not to try harder. Trying harder is just asking the battery to work longer, and batteries don't negotiate, they die. The solution is to reduce friction at the start. Make the first step so small and so easy that your brain doesn't feel threatened. Lay the clothes out. Open the book to the exact page. Put the laptop on the desk the night before. Remove the extra steps that create hesitation, because the hardest part is rarely the work itself. It's the beginning. And when you make starting easier than avoiding, discipline stops feeling like war and starts feeling like the natural next move. If willpower is a battery, then your environment is the power grid. And most people live in a grid that constantly drains them. Because the real battlefield of discipline is not inside your personality. It's in what is near you, what is visible, and what is effortless to reach. This is what behavioral science calls choice architecture. The way your surroundings silently shape what you choose without you feeling like you're choosing. Look at your own life. You tell yourself you want to train, but your workout clothes are buried in a drawer. Your shoes are out of sight. The gym bag isn't ready. Meanwhile, your phone is already in your hand. Notifications are glowing. The couch is within 3 steps. In that moment, the decision is no longer good versus bad. It's easy versus hard. And your brain, designed for efficiency, will follow the easiest path. Disciplined people don't win because they have stronger character. They win because they remove the unnecessary decisions. They don't rely on motivation to fight temptation. They redesign the room so temptation becomes inconvenient. James Clear points out that small environmental changes can produce big behavior changes. One famous example is simple. In a cafeteria, when water bottles were placed at the front, more visible, more accessible, people drank more water. When soda was moved further back, less visible, less convenient, people drank less soda. No speeches, no guilt, no motivation campaign, just a shift in what was closest. That's the power you've been ignoring. Your brain doesn't choose habits in the way you think. It follows cues. It follows what's available. So here's the deeper move. Design your defaults. A default is what happens when you're tired, distracted, or emotionally messy. A default is what happens when you don't have the energy to be strong. Most people's defaults are engineered by accident, by apps, by clutter, by convenience. But you can design yours on purpose. Make the good behavior the default option. Make the bad behavior require extra steps. If you want to read more, don't hide the book in a drawer. Put it on your pillow so you have to touch it before you sleep. If you want to journal, leave the notebook open with a pen already placed on the page. If you want to train in the morning, set your clothes next to your bed like a quiet trap so the first thing your body sees is the path you chose the night before. And if your phone is the thief, stop negotiating with it. Remove the easy access. Turn off notifications. Move the distracting apps off your home screen. Use blockers. Keep the phone out of the bedroom. Don't depend on self-control to beat a billion-dollar attention machine. Use distance. Use friction. Use design. Stoicism aligns with this perfectly. The Stoics didn't romanticize constant inner battle. They practiced preparation. They removed unnecessary temptations. They trained the conditions around the mind because they understood something simple. You become what you repeatedly do, especially when you're not thinking. So stop treating discipline like a personality test. Start treating it like architecture. Build a space where the right action is the nearest action. And when the nearest action changes, your life changes. At this point, you understand two brutal truths. Your brain avoids effort, and your environment decides more than your motivation. But now the real question becomes practical. How do you turn a good intention into an automatic action? Because the hardest part of discipline is not doing the work, it's starting. The beginning is where your brain negotiates, delays, and invents excuses. And that's why the smartest strategy is to stop relying on motivation to initiate. Instead, you hijack autopilot. Your brain runs on habit loops: cue, routine, reward. A cue triggers a behavior, the behavior produces a reward, and the loop strengthens over time. Most of your day is already made of these loops. You brush your teeth, you check your phone when you sit down, you make coffee when you enter the kitchen. You don't decide these actions, your body performs them. Habit stacking uses this to your advantage. Instead of building a new habit from zero, which requires high friction and high energy, you attach it to a habit you already do without thinking. You borrow the cue that already exists in your brain. After you brush your teeth, you meditate for 2 minutes. After you pour your coffee, you write 1 paragraph. After you lock the front door, you repeat 1 sentence that sets your focus. The old habit becomes the trigger. The new habit becomes the next step. And with repetition, your brain starts treating them as one chain. This works because it removes the most expensive part of discipline, the decision to begin. Once you're in motion, something powerful happens. Momentum starts working for you. Inertia is real. Getting started costs the most energy. Continuing costs far less. That's why people can dread opening a book, but once they're reading, they stay longer than expected. They fear the first 5 minutes at the gym, then they finish the session. Habit stacking is the art of crossing that first threshold. But it only works if you follow a few rules. Keep it small. Your new action should take less than 2 minutes at the beginning. Not meditate for 30 minutes. 2 minutes. Not write a chapter. 1 paragraph. Your goal is not to prove strength. Your goal is to create a repeatable track. Make it specific. Read 1 page, not read more. Do 10 push-ups, not work out. Specific actions give the brain a clear target. Vague goals create negotiation. Make it immediate. The new habit must happen right after the old one with no pause. The pause is where distraction enters and the loop breaks. Now here's the upgrade most people never use. Implementation intentions. If, then planning turns discipline into a script. If I sit in the chair, then I open the file for 60 seconds. If I finish lunch, then I walk for 5 minutes. If I pick up my phone, then I breathe once before unlocking it. You're not leaving the moment to chance. You're pre-deciding your response. And this is the Stoic part. You're training the space between stimulus and response. You're building a predictable pathway that protects you from your own volatility. Because momentum beats willpower. Every time. Willpower argues. Momentum moves. So don't build discipline like a heroic battle. Build it like a chain, one cue, one small action, one repeatable step. And when the chain becomes automatic, discipline stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like identity. Procrastination carries a lot of shame. People say, "I'm lazy," or "I just don't have discipline," as if delay is a moral stain. But procrastination is rarely a personality problem. It's a design signal. Your brain avoids tasks for a simple reason. The task, as it is currently designed, feels expensive. Expensive in effort, in attention, in uncertainty, and in delayed reward. The brain looks at a vague, heavy task and thinks, that will cost too much and pay too late. So it moves towards something cheaper and faster, scrolling, snacks, random chores, anything that gives immediate relief. That's not weakness. That's the brain protecting comfort. James Clear offers a more useful lens. Procrastination is a symptom that your environment, your cues, and your systems are poorly engineered. And he gives 4 laws of behavior change that turn discipline from a struggle into a structure. Make it obvious. If the habit is hidden, your brain forgets it exists. Visibility creates action. What you see is what you do. Make it attractive. The habit must generate some anticipation, something your brain can lean toward. This doesn't mean the task becomes fun. It means the entry feels inviting enough to begin. Make it easy. Reduce friction until starting feels almost effortless. The easiest version is the seed that grows. Make it satisfying. Without some immediate sense of completion, the brain doesn't attach to the habit. It needs closure. It needs a small reward. Now watch how procrastination changes when these laws are applied. Imagine you want to study at night. In the old design, your material is buried in a backpack, your desk is cluttered, your phone is nearby, the TV is on, and you tell yourself you will study for 1 full hour. That's vague, high friction, and low immediate reward. So your brain chooses TikTok, then you feel guilty, then you try again tomorrow. Same result. Now redesign it. Obvious. The book is already open on the desk. The page is marked. The pen is out. Attractive. You pair it with a cup of tea, or calm music, or a comfortable light. Easy. You start with 5 minutes, not 60. 1 paragraph, 1 page, 1 small win. Satisfying. When you finish, you check it off. You track the streak. You mark a board. You earn a small reward, an episode, a walk, a shower, something simple. This is reward shaping, giving the brain a tiny immediate payoff so the habit becomes emotionally sticky. The reward is not the point. The association is. You're teaching the nervous system. When I do this, something completes. And completion is what builds repetition. Stoicism would call this training the mind through structure, not emotion. You don't wait to feel ready. You create conditions where the right action is the easiest next move. So next time you procrastinate, don't insult yourself. Diagnose the design. Ask 4 questions. Is it obvious? Is it attractive enough to start? Is it easy to begin? Is it satisfying when I finish? If one of those is missing, you don't have a discipline problem. You have an engineering problem. Fix the design, and procrastination begins to disappear almost quietly, almost automatically. There's a popular belief in modern self-improvement that sounds beautiful, but quietly ruins people. You have to love the process. Fall in love with the routine. If you don't enjoy it, you won't stick to it. It's inspiring, and it's wrong. You don't need to like discipline to become disciplined. You need to make the right behavior inevitable. Because if your system depends on you waking up excited every day, it will collapse the moment life gets heavy. And life will get heavy. You will wake up tired. The weather will be bad. Your mood will be low. Your mind will search for reasons. And if your habits require enthusiasm, you will return to inconsistency. So stop trying to make discipline feel good. Start making avoidance feel harder than action. Let's use a simple example. Running in the morning. On 9 days out of 10, you won't want to do it. Your body will crave warmth. Your brain will present excuses with perfect logic. I'll start tomorrow. I didn't sleep well. It's too cold. I'll make it up later. And if the habit still requires you to choose in that moment, you will lose. Now imagine you design the night before. Your running shoes and clothes are placed next to your bed like a quiet command. Your phone alarm is across the room, so you must stand up to turn it off. The moment you do, an energetic playlist starts automatically. Your water bottle is filled, your route is already chosen, and you've arranged a partner to meet you at 6:30. Notice what changed. Running did not become more enjoyable. The work did not become easier. What changed is the structure around it. You reduced friction and increased commitment so much that running becomes the path of least resistance. That is inevitability. And here's the new concept that takes it even deeper: two-way doors. Some habits are easy to abandon because you can back out without consequence. You stay in the realm of maybe. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. That's where the brain plays games. A two-way door is a decision you can reverse easily. A one-way door is a decision that has weight. It locks in the path. You create one-way doors by committing publicly, scheduling, paying, or involving someone else. Signing up for a class, booking a session, telling a friend you'll be there, putting your name on the calendar. Even small commitments matter because they change the cost of quitting. The goal is not pressure. The goal is structure that holds you steady when you are not in the mood. Stoicism teaches this. Do not hand your life over to feelings. Feelings are weather. They change. Your commitments must be grounded in reason, in character, in preparation. So remember this line: the decision is made yesterday, not this morning. Discipline isn't something you summon at the moment of temptation. It's something you build into the architecture of your day, so that when temptation arrives, the default wins. And once the default wins often enough, you don't become someone who tries. You become someone who does. At the deepest level, discipline is not a behavior problem. It's an identity problem. Because you don't consistently do things just because you want an outcome. You consistently do things when they match who you believe you are. And this is why so many people fail, even with good goals. They set the goal on top of an identity that still says, I'm inconsistent, I'm lazy, I can't stick to things. So every time they miss a day, the old story feels confirmed. James Clear gives a hard truth that explains this perfectly. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. But underneath systems, there is something even more foundational: identity. Systems are easier to maintain when they express a self-image you are committed to protecting. So the real aim is not to force yourself into discipline. It's to become the kind of person who does what needs to be done. And here's how identity actually changes quietly, without drama. Identity is built by evidence, not by affirmation, not by motivation. Evidence. Every small action you repeat is a vote for the person you are becoming. When you train for 2 minutes, you cast a vote. When you write one paragraph, you cast a vote. When you read one page instead of scrolling, you cast a vote. And at first, these votes feel small, almost embarrassing. Your ego wants big changes because big changes feel heroic. But the mind doesn't transform through hero moments. It transforms through repeatable proof. This is the identity proof loop. Action creates evidence. Evidence shapes identity. Identity reinforces action, and the loop strengthens over time. That's why 2 minutes counts. Because 2 minutes isn't about fitness, it's about proof. It's proof that you are a person who shows up. And when you collect enough proof, the identity becomes real. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop needing to get inspired, because the new identity has standards. Now, here is the rule that protects the loop. Never miss twice. Missing once is a human moment. Life happens. You're tired. Something breaks. Missing twice is a pattern. It's where the old identity tries to reclaim the throne. So the goal is not perfection. The goal is continuity. If you miss today, you return tomorrow, no guilt, no drama, no story. This is Stoic discipline. Not harshness, not self-hatred, just ownership. The Stoics believed character is built through repeated choices. You become what you practice. And if you practice the path of least resistance, you become weaker. If you practice deliberate action, you become steadier. Not because you feel like it, but because you decided that your mind is worth training. So let's close with the true reframe of this entire video. Discipline is not you winning a war against yourself. Discipline is you designing a life where the right version of you faces less resistance than the wrong one. It's architecture, it's identity, it's evidence. Now, I want to ask you something simple. What is the first habit you will redesign starting today? Comment it below. Make it specific. One small change, one vote. Because the moment you write it, you're already stepping into a new identity.